the Heart Connection podcast, lovelies. This is a place to connect, to inspire, to heal, and to empower you to live a healthy, happy, and purposeful life from your heart. I'm Pavlina Jirushkova, your host. I'm an intuitive health and life coach, and I help women to connect to themselves, to step into their power and their purpose, and to heal from within. I believe that all issues we are experiencing in life, physical, mental, and emotional, arise from being disconnected from your heart, from your true self, and I'm going to help you to open your mind, to connect to your heart, and to heal from within. So let's dive right in. Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Heart Connection podcast. I didn't record an episode last week. I apologize because I wasn't feeling well. I was actually feeling quite sick last week. And this is something that I'm going to talk about today, not about being sick really, but about what it meant and what I had to do to get through this. And that all brought me to the topic of today's podcast, which is upleveling, soul growth, and purpose. To rewind a little bit, over the last few years since I've been in my business full time, I had to grow and uplevel quite a lot. If you've ever been in business, you know what a journey it is, what it takes to step into your power and your purpose, and that is a big self-development journey and a self-growth journey, and you have to uplevel many times. And yeah, it's been amazing. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a massive growth container for me to be in business. And for the last month or so, I have been, well, it's been longer, but over the last month or so, I finally decided to start creating my online program, which is something that I've been thinking about for about 3 years now. So it's been a long-term, I don't know if dream of mine, but this is something that's been in the back of my mind for about 3 years now. Pretty much ever since I created my one-to-one program, the 6-month one-to-one deep healing program I use when I'm working with clients now. And over the years, I started noticing when working with my clients that the topics we have to work through are similar, and that the journeys my clients go through are similar to my healing journey, and that we have been working on similar things with different clients, even though the stories might be a bit different. The steps we have to go through in order for them to heal are quite similar. So I started noticing patterns. So I developed this one-to-one deep healing program. But for the last 3 years, I have been thinking about turning it into an online program. And the one-to-one program has changed over time. You know, it kept evolving, and I kept adjusting it to the needs of each client. But like I said, I've noticed so many similarities. And so more and more, I started thinking, how can I bring this to more people? How can I help more people? And how can I make this more universal, let's say. And the thoughts have been coming, ideas have been coming, and I have started putting them together. And about a month ago, I decided that I want to start working on the program, creating the program. And this has taken a lot of inner work for me, because it's the next step in my business, and the journey that has brought me here, that I'm gonna talk about a bit later in this episode. It's been a long journey, and I didn't even realize that I was so scared to do this. I kept putting it off. Like I said, for about 3 years, I always felt like it's not the right time to do it, or there was always something else to do, something else to work on, until I started feeling that the right time has come to start putting the program together. And I have been doing a lot of inner work, like I said, around this, and ideas have been coming through me, and it started forming in my mind. I started making notes and everything. And on the one hand, I was like so happy about this. I was like, this is it. I can't wait to actually start creating this program and welcome clients into the program. And last week, or already the week before, I started feeling really, really tired, physically, energetically. And there was for about a few days when it was only maybe a day or two after this big idea came through, and it became more clear who this program is actually for. And the day after, I was feeling, and I did some work around this as well, some inner work, some energetic work. And afterwards, I felt so tired for a few days. I actually had to take a couple of days off because I felt so exhausted. It's deep inner work, these up levels, like stepping into your power and all of these things. And then I was feeling better again for a few days, and I did some more work around this, and some more ideas came through. And a bit later, I started feeling physically exhausted again. I was really, really tired. I couldn't sleep for a few nights, and all these ideas were like swirling in my head. And then last, I think Tuesday it doesn't matter what day it was, but all of a sudden I was feeling, all these different pains in my body, and the tiredness got even stronger. And I was like, okay, I need to clear my head. I need to go for a walk. And so I did. And it was nice to go for a walk, but my body was so tired. And then I got home and I got shivers, I was feeling so cold. Even though it wasn't really cold outside, I was sweating outside when I was walking. I do this regular walk almost every day. It takes about an hour, and you go up and down. And to come back to my house, I have to go up this hill, which usually I get quite sweaty. And so I got home and I was quite sweaty. And then within half an hour or so, I got the chills, and I had to have a bath actually, because I just couldn't get warm. And that night I got fever. I was sweating all night, and I started feeling so sick. And for about 5 days, until a few days ago, I was feeling really, really sick, like I got the flu or something. And of course, in this day and age, like the first thing that comes to your mind is COVID. And so the next day I went to get a COVID test and it was negative. And I was like, I sort of knew I didn't have COVID, but I just want to be on the safe side because we were supposed to go away with my family that weekend. So I was like, I better make sure that I'm fine. I didn't end up going away with them, even though it was my mom's 70th birthday. But because I just wasn't feeling that I can do it physically, I was so sick. And I started ask because, it was strange. I had fever, I had headaches, body pains, and it was from getting really, really hot from the fever to getting chills again and sweating during the night and, all these flu-like symptoms. But I didn't have a cough. I didn't have a runny nose or anything. And I've been doing this for a while, and I've done a lot of energy work and all of these things. So I know, like, when you go through times of up level, you can get like flu-like symptoms when you move a lot of energy. And so I was like, okay. And I asked my inner voice, and my inner voice confirmed that, told me that I was up leveling. And, this is something that has been scary for me. This whole, like I said, this whole business journey is actually showing up and stepping into my power and growing and public speaking like this. For even like a few years ago, this would be, I couldn't imagine I would be doing something like this one day, because like public speaking was really, really scary for me. And creating a program that, like when I work with clients one-on-one, I give them, sometimes meditation. So I give them written protocols and workbooks and different things that are not set in stone, but it felt like when I create the program, it will be something like to really show my work, put it out there. And this is something like the program I'm putting together is something that is sort of like a baby, the result of my work, it almost feels like my worth and all of these things. And when I start, because I knew that I needed to help my body to move through this, because when you up leveling, it means you may have up leveled energetically, but maybe your body or your mind, they haven't caught up. So there's a discrepancy, or there's a difference between the energy of your inner being and your energy. So you sort of have to get to the same level, and it can show physically these physical symptoms. And when I started uncovering what is underneath and why there is this discrepancy, or why there is this difference in my energy, what I needed to align, what I needed to release, I started uncovering that I'm still not trusting myself, that my self-worth, my self-trust are still not where I thought they were. I sort of, to get to the point that I can put out this program, this baby, which I haven't created it, but even to get to the point that I can actually start creating it from my soul, really, something that's coming from my soul, that's coming through me. I needed to get to the point in my mind and energetically that, that's in alignment with the worth that my soul knows I have, or that I know in my heart, but in my mind I'm still not there, or I still wasn't there. And over this past week, I had to work through so many different things that came up when I started going deeper and going deep around my self-worth and not feeling good enough. And I know like the feeling not good enough is like a pattern that I already had to work through many layers of, and I haven't been feeling worthy my whole life, and I haven't been feeling good enough. But I thought, there were already a lot of things I already worked through, but self-worth was something that really came out strong as something I really needed to align. I needed to work through, and not just trusting myself, but also trusting the universe that I am supported on this journey, and this really is my purpose and my soul journey, that's something that's really coming from my soul. That's something that there might be more. Hopefully I still have many more years and many more projects, but this is something that really feels like a big step on my soul journey. And I started uncovering where this is all guiding me. I already know about a future program that I want to create after this one, that it all just makes so much sense right now, and it all starts falling into place. But there's so much I needed to work through around my self-worth. One thing you might have heard of, and I don't know if I ever mentioned it on this podcast, is, like we all come to this world with a sort of like a, not just purpose, but with an assignment, like a soul assignment. There's some agreements, maybe some contracts your soul decided to step in before coming to this world. And I think this is one of my assignments. And I know that in past lives, I had to work through this many, many times. And it's something that probably in the past lives, I still haven't overcome. So it's something that's been coming up in this lifetime. And, I know in past lives, I have been a witch, I have been a healer, I have been many different things. And this, what we call witch wound, which many of us have to heal in this lifetime, especially if you're a soulpreneur like myself, if you're a healer, if you're a coach, that's something many of us have to heal and overcome. And so this is something that's really, usually it feels really scary, really difficult to do, like for myself, public speaking, or, creating something like this signature program of mine right now. It's really scary, or writing a book, all these different things, but putting yourself out there in your power, and showing up and sharing your gifts and sharing your soul and your heart. This can be really, really scary. And so I had to, and I have been healing this witch wound for many, many years now, but this has been another level I needed to heal. And apart from this witch wound, for me, there have been ancestral wounds as well, and patterns that have been my family, like I mentioned before, not feeling good enough, that has been something that has been prevalent in my life, my whole life pretty much, from since I can remember, ever since I was a child. I never really felt good enough. I never really felt worthy. I never really felt lovable. And only a few years ago, I realized that that's something my father was struggling with his whole life as well. And my father passed away 7 years ago from alcoholism, pretty much. Like it was a result of many years of heavy drinking. And once he told me that he started drinking because when he had a drink, when he had a shot, it made him more courageous. It made him, he was feeling better when in the beginning, it was probably just one drink, and then he started drinking more and more and more to feel better about himself. And I can remember, I don't really drink alcohol anymore, but I used to party a lot and drink a lot for many, many years as well. And I remember that for many years, I was thinking, because my star sign is Leo, and everybody used to tell me, like, you're not a typical Leo, because naturally I'm quite a shy person. But when I had a few drinks, I would sort of like step into my Leo power. I became this lioness, and I was more confident. I was more fun, and I could see this pattern in my father's life as well, because I remember my father always being this confident person, this powerful man. He used to, my father used to be on TV. He was a foreign reporter. He used to do news and all of these things. And he was quite a strong personality. And as kids, we respected him a lot. And even after he started drinking, he would, he had really strong energy. And so I always thought he was this confident person, and only it was maybe a year or two before he died, I found out that he was actually, and also when I started doing like self-development work and healing work and all of these things, I realized this pattern of his, that he was actually this scared little boy inside, and he just, was covering it up with this facade, with this persona. And that's what many people do. And, we cover up our emotions, our fears with alcohol, with food, with drugs, with other things. And so this is an ancestral wound that may have been in my family for generations as well. And that's something I have been healing for many, many years, trying to, prove my worth, uncover my worth. And my whole life, because I had a really, really difficult relationship with my father. If you grew up with someone who's an alcoholic, you probably know what it's like. But because of this, my whole life, I also never wanted to. There was another pattern in my family, that my mom was always sort of dependent on my father, and he was the one making more money, and he was the head of the family, and my mom was a teacher and she didn't make much money, and she had 3 kids as well. So a lot of the time, especially when we were little, she didn't work. And then when she again started working, her salary wasn't as high, and she always had to beg my father for money, and he wouldn't give her sort of monthly allowance for food and for us and stuff. He wouldn't give it to her without her having to beg for money. And that was the same for us when we needed something from my father, when we needed money for school or for new shoes or whatever, we had to beg him. And I hated it. I always hated it. And I swore that I never wanted to end up like my mom. And that's why I ended up getting 2 master's degrees. And that's why I have so many certifications, because I was always trying to prove that I'm this strong, independent woman without even being aware that this was the pattern and that this was the case. And so trying to prove my self-worth with education, with certifications, with all of these things. And I just realized today when I was making notes before I started recording this episode that this year I actually wanted to start another coaching certification. I mean, it sounded really interesting and everything, but I don't actually need another certification. I already have plenty. And even though I love learning and it would be an amazing addition, and I'm not saying I'm not going to do the certification in the future, it was a way. I actually heard this term somewhere, procrasti-learning, keep learning and keep getting those certification and proving your worth instead of actually putting the work into your business and putting your work out there. So instead of starting to create my online program, which like I said, have been thinking about creating for 3 years, I wanted to sign up for another year-long certification. So I would have to put my time and effort into the certification instead of putting it into my business and my program and putting myself out there and showing my work to the world and my gifts and my inner wisdom and whatever my soul wants me to put in it. It's still in process. This is all still happening and it's still quite fresh. I have only been feeling better for a few days, and this is what I've been working through the last few weeks. So I'm just sharing it with you because I thought it was really, really important to recognize what's actually going on. Your business is really a self-development journey, because what you have to work through and heal it's part of your healing journey. So there's a parallel, between your business and your life and your healing journey. I needed to realize, I needed to work through, that I had this pattern, this lack of self-trust, and that I needed to work through this, and that I had my whole life, I have been trying to prove to myself, my father, everyone else, that I am this strong, independent woman and that I can do it. I'm independent and I am worthy. That I am worthy. And it's been definitely a journey, and it's still ongoing, I would say, because this journey is really never ending. But this all these realizations I'm sharing with you, it's been so profound. I think it's really important to know that your body always is the symptoms you experience, whatever they are. And sometimes I feel like a broken record because I keep talking about it over and over again, that, you know, whatever symptoms your body is showing you, there's always a message underneath. There's always a message underneath, and you just have to ask. You just have to ask yourself, ask your heart, ask your inner voice, ask your body, what does this symptom mean? Of course, you can get COVID, or you can get the flu, or you can get anything else. You can develop a chronic illness, but whatever the symptoms are, there's always a message underneath. The symptom is not actually, it's not a sign of something being wrong with your body. It's a sign of a message from your soul. And this is really, really important. And of course, when you get sick, I would still, of course, support my body. You know, like I said, I got a COVID test, and I would rest, I would drink plenty of fluids, I was taking vitamins and all of these things. I was eating well, but at the same time, I would do the inner work, question the root causes of the symptoms. Like I said, for me, the first message was upleveling. And then I got to the self-trust piece and not feeling good enough, and all of these things that were entailed in all of that. And there were some fears, some anxiety, and I'm still working through this, guys. You know, it's like I said, it's an ongoing journey. And as we up-level, no matter where on your journey you are, there will be more, possibly, and it can show up differently for every person. For me, and for probably many of you who are listening, physical symptoms are one of the ways your soul communicates with you. For some other person, it can show up differently. But when you get sick, when you get some symptoms, if it's the flu, if it's some body pains, whatever it is, just always question the symptoms and keep questioning, keep going deeper. If you're not sure, journal about it, you know, journal about what is going on in your life, journal about what you are feeling, and ask your inner voice what it means, and work through it. You know, I did a lot of EFT over the last week or two when I was working through these limiting beliefs, these fears, this anxiety, this lack of self-trust. I was doing an hour or two of EFT every day because there was so much to uncover, so much to release, so much to work through. Because EFT is an amazing tool for these things, you know, for not only calming the nervous system, releasing whatever it is on the physical level, but also uncovering and unblocking things on the subconscious level and on the energetic level, and releasing the blocked energy and letting the energy flow and calming the nervous system, and so on and so on. So there's many ways how you can do it, but for me, EFT is an amazing tool to work through these things and addressing your symptoms. EFT is one of the main tools I use when I work with clients as well. And I want to, and it may have been also another piece to the puzzle, what I want to put into my online program. There will be plenty of EFT. So to work through whatever you're going through, to support you. So there will be a lot of I don't want to go into too much detail right now because I started putting things together, but it's still not set in stone. So there will be some form of EFT, what it's going to look like. There might be some guided EFT videos. There might be some EFT scripts and journaling prompts and so on and so on. But it will be definitely a big part of the program. So yeah, that's so exciting. And it's actually a relief that I put it all out there, that I can be honest with you. And it's so empowering to be honest and talk about these things openly, what we are going through and how we're struggling. Because I know from my own experience, when I hear other people sharing their stories and how they are struggling, it's always so helpful. You don't feel so alone. And this program, there will be a part where you would be doing self-study and doing guided meditations and EFT and so on and so on. But part of the online program will also be group calls, and there will be probably a Facebook group, a community. And community has been so important and is so important on your healing journey. And I know it's scary to share your problems and your fears and your inner thoughts and your struggles with other people, but it's so empowering and so healing. So that will be part of the program as well. And I'm not gonna share many more details right now because, like I said, it's still work in progress. And when I get closer, I will share much more details, and I will share when it's going to launch and all of these things. But for now, this is all that I wanted to share. I hope it was helpful for you, and I hope you are as excited about the program as I am. And if you have any questions about anything, if you have something to share, whatever resonated with you, I would love to hear. If this was helpful for you and you know someone that could benefit from this as well, please tag me on Instagram, share it with your community, share it on your Insta stories, or come share it with me in my private Facebook community, Heal the Tribe Soul Sisters. And I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear if you had if this resonated with you, if you have any takeaways from this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so glad you are here. I'm so glad for all of you. I love you all so much. And I will talk to you again soon. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And happy new moon. It's new moon today. When you're listening, there won't be probably new moon anymore. But I feel this new, fresh energy coming in. So putting it out there, connecting with you in this beautiful new moon energy. When I'm recording this, there is no time and space in the energetic realm anyway. So whenever you are listening to this, you can connect to this energy and this love I want to send you right now from my heart to yours. And I will talk to you again very soon. Love you so much. Bye-bye.